All right, good morning, everyone. Jose J. Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor. Very special guest speaker here with me this morning, Mr. Bill Oehme. Now, the reason for this, I'm going to jump right in because this is 30 minutes. Remember, every Saturday morning, 30 minutes, whether it's a mobile home check-in, we're giving you updates, new coachings to come, new investments that we're getting, quite a bit of those as well. But this morning is the shadow event. So the shadow event we have coming up, we had it for set for July. We pushed it back to first of all. We're still getting a date on that, which we should have probably by the week coming up. But the reason behind that is we're adding a lot more education. Remember, we're trying to set you up for the best success that you can have. We have two topics specifically that I've chosen that I've added to, never before taught by me. Now we've gone out there and done it ourselves. We figured out how to do this. Remember, coach and a teacher are two different things. So I want to coach out things that we're actually getting into, things that we're actually doing. And one of those is how to get titles, how to do bonded titles, which is huge. We had a huge reaction out of that from park owners, park managers, etc. Long story short, new guest speakers coming into the event. Big surprise on that as well, and added topics. But we'll talk a little bit more about this towards the end. So one of the things that we did a couple weeks before what was supposed to be the date, however, was meet your speakers. We have 4 speakers that are coming, and again, an additional, we'll leave that one for later, but 4 speakers that are going to be there, one being Bill Oehme we have here, who's going to be talking about cash flow. He'll tell you a little bit more about that here in a minute, but it struck a lot of reaction as well, a lot of emails, a lot of messages. Hey, I wish I would have heard a little bit more about the, there it is, about the speakers, a little bit more about them and that sort of thing. So we are creative. We want you to meet the speakers a little bit more. And for all of you who attend, this is only a little bit of what you're going to hear. They got a lot to offer out there. So without any further, Bill, good morning, sir.
Hey Jay, it's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Guys, you're in the right place at the right time. I'm assuming that everybody that's on these webinars here is looking at real estate, and the whole thing that's going on with inflation right now. This is going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity, and the people who don't get involved, they're going to get hammered because very few people remember what happened in the 70s and 80s. You have to be old like me to remember it. But let's do this. I'm going to give you guys sort of a quick tutorial, a little training, some things to think about. Oh, can you enable my screen so I can show off a PowerPoint presentation, Jay? I think you
Absolutely.
have to make me a co-host or something.
Yes, sir.
This way I can show it off. Because I got some good stuff, guys. Unbelievable. Your basic housing is the absolute future. Okay, so let me show this off. And I'm going to go right like this. And this way I spent some time putting this together. Slideshow and from the beginning. Okay. And I don't know, is there a chat line that we're watching, or Jay, are you watching chat line?
Yeah, so I'm paying attention to the TikTok.
Okay, so if we have any questions.
Yes,
okay. So guys, look, there's a lot of things in real estate that people will talk to you about, right? Oh, appreciation, depreciation, tax advantages. Let me tell you, the one thing that matters and the one thing that's real is cash flow. Guys, learn to focus on cash flow and you will always be okay. So mobile homes is one of the ways to get some extreme cash flow. So in like 30 minutes, we're going to talk about building a portfolio that's not only inflation proof, but inflation friendly. Create incredible cash flow simply by helping other people. And then focus on building a cash flow based retirement account. Okay, what's happening is you've been told to build an asset-based retirement account. And we're going to talk about how cash flow is so much superior. And I may have too many slides, so I'm going to keep this down to 30 minutes. Okay, so my name is Bill Oehme. I was at a corporate job. I got laid off after 23 years. Anybody else had that experience? And I had to reinvent myself. So I started looking at real estate and books and tapes and all that sort of thing. And I had spent about 30 grand on education because I was serious. But it's produced over $10 million in profits from real estate. I'm doing it 22 years. Here's a cool thing about real estate is that unlike a job, if you learn how to do this right, you can become financially free in just a couple of years because you start getting passive income from your real estate. You go from you working for the money to your assets working for the money, okay? And a phrase you'll probably hear a lot as we get going is you don't know what you don't know. And I compliment you on being here on Saturday morning because you could be doing a lot of other things, but this is going to be worth it to you. Okay, So in properties, there's 4 levels of real estate investing. So there's wholesaling, and you'll see that whether you're wholesaling properties or you're wholesaling trailers or mobile homes, again, you're getting the property under contract, but you're not actually taking possession, you're selling the contract. Perfect. Make $3,000 to $5,000, going to take about 30 days. Fixing and flipping is the next level up. Now, and again, this is for houses, it's a little smaller for trailers, but you better know what you're doing, because you got to spend some money or some resources and actually acquire that property or control it. And then you got to know what to do with fixing and flipping. It ain't like on TV where it happens in 18 minutes and everybody parties afterwards. Okay. There's real risk in fixing and flipping. Third one is buy and hold. Buy and hold starts getting different though. Now you're talking about instant wealth creation, and then passive income. And then finally, money lending. Now, not money lending like your dad lent money, as in you saved up a bunch of money because you didn't go to Disney World every year. I'm talking about where you create money. I mean, you just create it out of thin air and then you lend it out. And we'll talk just quickly how you can get from here to there. Now, that's basically infinite return on your investment. Now, the first 2 levels are earned income, meaning you do it, you get paid, you got to pay your taxes. It's also transactional. So this is where most people stop in real estate, but you got to keep doing it. Levels 3 and 4, though, are the wealth creation and passive income. Wealth creation. Guys, I'll give you the keys to the kingdom. The quickest way to become a millionaire in the United States is to buy assets at a discount, in this case, real estate, and create wealth instantly. So if you're buying a house, a $100,000 house, this would be me, buying it for 40 grand, the difference is 60,000, that's equity. You're instantly $60,000 richer. How long does it take the average person who doesn't understand this to save 60 grand? A lifetime, maybe even more. Okay. So these are some things, and I know we don't know what we don't know. So really, the levels 1 and 2, you do it, you get paid, you do it, you get paid. But levels 3 and 4 is where you do it once and you just get paid over and over again. So that's where the financial independence comes in. Okay. And we say it's going from the big checks, because everybody loves the big checks, to the little checks. Lots of little checks over and over again. Okay. This is where the financial security is. And that's the reason why 90% of the millionaires in this country become millionaires through real estate investing using this model. And we're going to distill it even easier, because I love taking things down to the essence. We're going to basically come up with a 2-step plan for financial freedom. Okay. First one is you're going to buy or at least control your assets, whether they're trailers or little houses or apartment buildings, at huge discounts. You're going to buy them below market value, and that's going to create tax-free wealth instantly. The second thing is you're going to maximize cash flow by creating value. That's all you got to do. And I'm telling you, if you start learning how to do this, your ability to create value, especially for your tenants, is unlimited. The opportunity, I mean, I just can't believe it. I wake up in the morning, I've never seen anything like this in 22 years. Okay. So our program, and Jay knows I'm in a group, but our program, we call it the EPIC program. So it's based on education, properties, income, and community. And Jay's program is very similar. Education, you're going to have to learn some stuff. You're going to have to, guys, they don't teach this stuff in school. They teach you how to get a job. So you're going to learn specific knowledge for this business. Second is properties, an emphasis on accumulating wealth, not wages. Folks, the system teaches you how to earn more money. What you want to do is you want to accumulate more assets that then earn you money. So you're not doing the work. Okay. Income, as in you're going to have to make some money to pay the bills, because you're not going to be a real estate independent in real estate right away. It takes a little bit of time. This does not get rich quick. And then finally, community. And this is huge. Who are you hanging out with? Who are the people that are influencing you right now? Are you hanging out with people that are like-minded, that are doing what you want to be doing? Are you hanging out with a bunch of people that are naysayers and dragging you down? It's real. Okay. When you start breaking into this, You'll hang out with the wrong people, it'll suck the life out of you. So education is going to get you specific knowledge. Properties will start buying you back your time. Because again, if you're in the system, if you're in the rat race will suck up all your money and suck up all your time. So the properties buy you back time because they're producing the money. Income, because everybody needs multiple streams of money. And then finally, community as in relationships. So it's so important for you guys to plug into communities, whether it's Jay's community, other communities, because those resources and relationships are there. You don't have to accumulate them all yourself. And we call these the 4 currencies. So everybody has these to trade, but the currency that most working people are obsessed with is money. Give you a tip. Wealthy people don't focus on money. They focus on more knowledge and more relationships, and then the money is everywhere. Okay. So, and again, I can't get feedback from you guys out there, but hopefully you get something out of this. What's preventing you from investing in real estate or owning your own business? And usually it's a lack of one of these 4 currencies. Okay. But if you have, in other words, everybody thinks it's money. If you don't have money, if you have knowledge and relationships, you don't need money. You see how this works? You have to have something out of those 4 currencies in order to exchange for value. Okay, so who are your tenants? If you're looking at extreme cash flowing rentals, whether it's mobile homes, whether it's small houses, here's where your tenants are. They are 68,000 is about the median income in the United States for a family of 4. About 40 to 60,000. This is your high value area. This is where you can create the most value. These folks have very little financial control. They're struggling. They work for $12 to $14 an hour. They work Walmart, hospitality, Disney. They work these service jobs, or they're collecting a fixed check. They have little upward mobility. So they're sort of stuck in this rut because what? Bad credit, unstable employment, and they're doing a lot of gig economy stuff. Guys, you want to go nowhere in life? Focus on the gig economy. They have very transient lifestyles. They're struggling to find stability. They don't really think about the future because they're worried about the future. And if you can provide some of that future, some vision of what can happen, you're a superhero. And inflation really hurts this crowd because what? Their prices are going up like crazy, but their wages aren't. So their friends and family might not be good role models, but they're human beings and they appreciate the continuity. If you can provide this, and then we don't have enough in a half an hour, but when you're looking at mobile homes or small houses, or I prefer that. I prefer the single family rather than the apartments, because it's something in the American psyche about people want just a little place to live, even if it's a tiny little bit of land, just something that they can call their own. And they're getting abused by the system. Okay, the banks take advantage of the corporations, the government, Wall Street, everybody takes advantage of this crowd. And that's where it comes in, where you can create tremendous value. Okay, that's the beauty of this. There's so much you can do. Okay, so why do you want to focus on this high cash flowing area of real estate? Incredible cash flow versus traditional rentals. If you're back to the old, hey, I'm going to buy a $250,000 house and rent it for $2,000 a month, you're talking to the wrong guy, okay? Because that is like your dad's model. If you create value, you'll have much less property efforts, much less property management. Your tenants will take care of things because of the value proposition. 80% of the US population is not eligible for a bank mortgage. It's probably more now. This is before COVID. So you have almost the whole darn country not eligible for a bank mortgage, which means you can be the person who creates that. 50% of the population is unbankable. It means they don't even have a bank account. So you get to replace the banks and capture these profits for yourself. There's insatiable demand for this product, for this model. You will never run out. When I have a house or a mobile home and I put a sign in front of it, I get 25 calls in a day. If I had 25 of them, I could rent them out. That's how much demand there is. You're always supply and demand. There's not enough supply. And why? You have immigration. Millions of people are coming to this country. They need a place to live. The population is growing. the landlords are selling off their rentals and pulling them off the market because they're getting huge windfalls for their properties. You understand that there's this four confluence of events that's never happened before, that's causing rents to soar and the availability of rental properties to go down dramatically. Huge tax advantages in this arena. Okay, I can't think of anything with more tax advantages. And it's an excellent inflation hedge, because if something happens with inflation, what happens? Property values go up, rents go up. You're protected. If you're collecting something on fixed income or you have wages, it'll never keep up with inflation. And you'll get to help otherwise, because we're going to talk about helping other people possibly own their own houses. Okay, that's the beauty, and not just rentals. It's like, hey, would you like to actually own a property going forward? Okay, so mobile homes, and I'm going to do this in deference to Jay. So we're going to look at why mobile homes and why now. Worst housing shortage of our lifetime. Just not enough roofs to put over people's heads. Builders can't afford to build houses that average people can afford. If we're paying $200 a square foot to build a house, that means it's a $200,000 for a 1,000 square foot house. The average person can't afford it, especially if interest rates go up. Landlords are cashing out of their appreciated rentals, removing the inventory. Millions of immigrants are streaming into this country, and they don't need subdivision houses. They don't need 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2-car garage, swimming pool. They don't need that and can't afford it. What they need is something basic. And remember who your customers are, guys, not where you prefer to live. Remember that you have customers and they have a very different outlook on life than you do. To them, a mobile home may be an absolute huge upgrade to what they had come from. This is interesting. The illegal eviction moratorium during COVID, the landlords got blindsided by that, and they now realize, oh, wait a minute, the government can put a moratorium in? Okay, we got to raise our rents to account for that new risk. Just like an insurance company, new risk, more premium. So the landlords have to raise their rents in case this ever happens again, that they don't get blindsided. Inflation, inflation, inflation. And the most affordable form of single family houses is the mobile home. It just is. I mean, even compared to a tiny house, tiny house like $100,000, but mobile homes, you could still get them a very low purchase. And it's a great entry for the beginner real estate investor. You're not going out there swinging around $200,000. You're not borrowing money that you can't pay back. You can get started for the very little amount of money. In fact, if you learn how to have the conversations, you have investors lending you the money. You don't need money. Okay, what you need to do is have the knowledge and relationships to put together good deals. Low purchase costs, and they are a great alternative to stocks and bonds in retirement accounts. I'm going to show you some deals where I have trailers in my retirement accounts. They just blow away anything that the stock market can offer. Okay, I'm going to make sure I got time. 21, and now I'm going to have to cut back on my time. Okay, I want you guys to think about retirement here. So here's a chart of how people think they're going to retire. So this chart says if you need $10,000 a month, I'm going to go right to the middle. $10,000 a month, and you're going to live for 20 years. That you better have $3.4 million saved up in your retirement account the day you retire. How's that working for everybody? Oh, by the way, this chart was assuming an average inflation rate of 3.49. What happens if it's 10%? It goes dramatically higher. But people are being lied to, guys. The government, the corporations, Wall Street, they're lying to us about what we're going to need to retire. And what's the #1 retirement strategy in the United States? Just a guess. It's actually the lottery. Is that not sad? The average person is hoping for the lottery. Okay, so don't be the average person. Okay, real quick. A simple retirement investment strategy. Question, if you work for 40 years, how much can you sell your job for? 0, right? You've built nothing. Can you leave your job to your family? If you die prematurely and you need your family to survive, can you leave them? No, you can't leave them anything. Your job goes away. So let's start building a plan. Let's start accumulating, let's say 5 little rental houses or trailers per year, just 5, which especially at the mobile homes level, that's not that hard to do. So you're going to buy them at a discount. And I want you to be buying everything at a discount. And let's say that you're buying them $20,000 below market. Okay. So how much are 25 free and clear houses? The tenants are going to pay them off, folks. Okay. 20 times 25. So that's about 500,000. So for $500,000 rather than 3.4 million, right? That was the old way. You now have a retirement account that will crank out $10,000 a month, but not for 20 years, forever. So you can live to be 185. See, under the old model, if you live past 85 years old, you are broke. You are 85 years old, your health is failing, and you're broke. Congratulations, Schwab, Vanguard, Goldman Sachs, all the people who put you into those things. Okay? But in this case, you're focused on cash flow, not asset, and not eating your nest egg. Okay? Anybody here worried about dealing with tenants? This, guys, if you learn how to create enough value, you don't have tenant problems. In fact, I will tell you, if you're having problems with tenants, it ain't the tenant's fault. You know whose fault it is? It's yours. It's yours because you haven't learned to create enough value for your customer. And you've got to do that because we don't know what we don't know. Okay. Is there going to be more or less demand for housing in the future? Absolutely, positively more. There's such a shortage of housing. I've never seen anything like it. Okay. How do we know this works? It's been working for hundreds of years. This is how people used to do it before Wall Street got in and did the 401k and all the financialization. Your mom and your dad and your grandfather used to have rental houses, and it worked just fine for them. Okay, so how a cash flow based retirement plan works. So asset, remember the old way is the asset way, where you're accumulating, you're saving, you're doing without, you're scrimping, 3% in the 401k, company match. Okay, here's the comparison. You need 3.46 million just to get started before you retire. Cash flow, you can create value right away. You don't need a certain amount of money. You got to start like 30 years ago if you are going to do it what the system's teaching you to do. If you're 40 or 50 and you don't have $1 million in your retirement account right now, it's too late. Let me be the first to tell you, you can't save enough to have a retirement. But if you focus on cash flow and value creation, you can be financially free in about 3 to 5 years. Here's one of the reasons, because if you're buying stocks and bonds into your 401k, you have to pay full value for those. If you're buying real estate, you can buy it at a huge discount. So you create your wealth instantly. You don't have to buy it and then hope and pray that the stock market goes up. You got to be old to retire. Go into your company right now. If you're 40 years old and say, hey, HR person, I want to retire when I'm 45. What's the plan? What will they tell you? They will tell you, get back to work or you're fired. That's what they will tell you. Under this model, the cash flow based, as soon as you acquire enough assets producing cash flow, you're done. I don't care if you're 25 years old, 45 years old, 65, it doesn't matter. You control it. This is huge. Under the current way that you're being told to invest, the minute you retire, you start depleting your nest egg. So the most money you're ever going to have is the day you retire. That means you're depleting your nest egg. And if you live too long, guess what? You're broke. Under a cash flow based model that we're talking about, Jay shows you how to do it with the trailers and everything. You don't touch the nest egg. You live off the cash flow, right? You don't kill the chicken, you eat the eggs. Here's the other thing. If you're going to do it the old way, you got to go to work every day for 30 years, for 40 years. You got to earn the money first. If you learn how to invest in real estate, you don't need money. You can get money from other sources and still create the value. Technically, you don't need any money to do this. if you have knowledge and relationships. If you know how to show off deals and you know how to create really good deals, the world will beat a path to your door, because everybody's looking for something to do with their money. They can't make any money on their money. If you know how to do it, you'll have private investors lined up competing to invest with you. Wall Street controls you, whereas you control you. Just saying. Okay, so I got a quiz for you guys. How much is that mobile home worth? Now, I'm going to give you a hint. Fair market value is about $32,000. The net rent is $420. So take away the lot fee, some other expenses. We go into our pocket about $420 a month. We paid $7,000 for this. Now, the average real estate agent or average investor would look at it from an asset base and tell me that's worth $32,000. You know what that house is worth on a cash flow basis? Guys, keep thinking cash flow. On a cash flow basis, that house is worth $504,000. Now, allow me to explain. If you had 504, remember, it's got to be compared to other investments. If you had 504,000 in cash, I don't know how you got it. You cryptocurrency, hit the lottery, robbed liquor stores. I don't know what you did, but you got $504,000 at 1% in the bank. You would have $420 a month available to spend without touching the principal. That's just the interest. That same house yields the same amount of money as $504,000 in the bank. It gets better. $504,000 in the bank is going down in value every year due to inflation. Guys, last year inflation is about 10%. That means the person who had $504,000 in the bank lost $50,000 in purchasing power, whereas the house will appreciate because real estate goes up. You can't buy the $504,000 in cash at a discount. You can't buy $100 bills for less than $100, but you can buy the houses at a huge discount. If you're helping out sellers, if you're creating value, if you're rehabbing, you can get spectacular deals. And again, that $504,000, where did it come from? You had to earn it. Whereas the, what is it, $7,000 to buy that little house, that could be borrowed money. That could be investors who you're doing them a huge favor and giving them a return on their investment. Okay? I want you guys to see this. Now, why I say cash flow is everything. Here's 3 examples. Here's a house. We paid what, $28,000 for it. It's worth 90. It's probably worth more than that now, but it's worth $624,000 on a cash flow basis. Here's another little house, right? This one rents for $695 a month. By the way, these rents are low. They're all low. Now that house is worth $667,000 on a cash flow basis. Here's the little trailer we just showed. $7,000, and it pays the same cash flow as $507,000 in the bank. So which is easier? To save $500,000, to work for $500,000, or to buy a mobile home or a little house? It's ridiculously easy, okay? So now there are some challenges with mobile homes, and just to get, let's be fair about it, right? One is, and Jay's working on getting this straightened out, getting clear title, right? Because you get mobile homes, nobody knows what the title is, bill of sale versus the DMV, all that. But Jay's coming up with this thing with bonded title, perfect. Because you want to make sure you get good title. You just don't want to take a piece of paper that says scratch, 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 it's yours. How do you know that person had the right to do that? Okay. Now, if you're buying trailers in a trailer park, you're sort of at the mercy of the trailer park. So you have to understand what the rules are. Make sure you understand. Think of like an HOA, what is it, the homeowners association? And is the trailer park investor friendly or not? Sometimes they don't want investors in there. They just want owners. So you've got to understand the rules. You're in somebody else's park. Okay. Now you can get around that if your trailer's on your own acre of land. Okay, that's a little different. In the rural areas, sometimes you can do that. Lot rent increases. What's going to be the lot rent, and can you get it fixed for a certain amount of time? Okay, that's a variable, because if the lot rent can do anything at once, that'll ruin your cash model, right? All of a sudden, the lot rent goes from $300 to $500 a month. There goes all your profits. So can you get that lot rent locked in? Do you know what it is? Mobile homes can be a depreciating asset. Now, one of the things about mobile homes is new mobile homes are like new cars. They depreciate instantly. But if you're getting older mobile homes and you're buying them at a huge discount, you'd be surprised how long they will hold their value, right? You buy a mobile home for $10,000 now, 20 years from now, if it's kept up, it's probably worth more than $10,000 because all the depreciation has been wrung out of it. Somebody else paid for it. You don't have control over who your neighbors are. So you have to pay attention to that, right? Is the trailer park being maintained? Are the people criminals? Are there any meth labs there? What's going on in the trailer park? You want it to be a family-friendly place. You don't want it to be crime-ridden. You don't want that sort of thing. So you have to pay attention to that because, again, you're buying into like a little subdivision. And you have to create, here's the deal. If you create enough value for folks that are really getting abused, that have no other where to go, you will minimize your maintenance, your defaults, and your evictions. It is amazing how much you can get rid of just by creating enough value, using the carrot, the motivation, versus the stick, which is, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to evict you, no. If you're doing that, you're missing the point. You should have a great relationship with your tenants, because the minute they know that you care, that they are, think of it, these folks are your customers. If you treat them like customers, all of a sudden that respect is huge, because nobody gives them that respect. Okay, I've had tenants renting houses for 20 years. I don't even know if the key works to the front door. And they are so happy there. And you know what's amazing? They don't actually want to buy it. I thought they did. They just want to live in the properties with quiet enjoyment. They just don't want to get jacked over by a landlord who puts them out on the street because they can. I get calls every day, folks, from tenants that are like, I need a place. I desperately need a place. I only have 30 days to get out. And I'm like, why? What'd you do? I didn't do anything. My landlord just said he's raising the rent $300 more. And if I can't pay it, to get out. Really? That's the way you play the game? Okay. Then when they get to sue you, and then you think they're going to be happy when they leave? You think they might do a little scorched earth on the way out the door? Pour a little concrete down the toilet just to be vindictive? Yep. And then the landlords are like, I don't know how this happened. Well, you were a jerk and you got treated like a jerk. So don't be a jerk. Don't be that person. Be the value creation person, okay? Oh, and if things go bad in a trailer park, moving trailers can be difficult, maybe even impossible, depending on the situation. So, you now have a partnership with your trailer park, right? You better know who you're dealing with. And remember, things can change. Joe Smith is the trailer park owner. He's a great guy. Joe Smith dies. His kids aren't so great, right? And all of a sudden things change. So if you've got that vulnerability, if you're going to work with trailer parks, you've got to know who you're dealing with, and you've got to have a relationship, and it's got to be in writing. Okay. So there's a thought. What do we got now? You have enough time? 36. I think we're there. I was going to do a cool, you want me to do a cool story or wrap it up?
No,
okay. We're talking about cash flow. So all you guys and gals out there, when your spouse comes to you and says, honey, you need a new car. We need a new car. You're like, oh my God, really? Okay, hold on a second. Well, when my wife comes to me and she says, we need a new car, I said, well, then we actually need a new house. Mm-hmm. And she says, wait a minute, smart guy. We have enough houses. What about the car? I said, no, bear with me. I have an idea. So this little house, which costs $18,000, we need to buy that. And she's like, no, we need to buy a car. I said, hold tight. So that's going to equal the fancy car that you want, the Toyota Sequoia V8 terrorist mobile that gets like 16 miles to the gallon, okay, and weighs I don't know how many tons. So we bought the little house, and the house, we got it at a discount because we understand negotiations. But here's the cool thing. This tenant has the option to buy the property because we always give them a pathway to ownership. So we really only have 17,000 into the deal, but it rents for $695 a month. So annually we're making, I don't know what, I can't see it below my thing, like 40 something percent,
41%.
41%, which is a good return. But we're not doing it to make money. We're doing it to pay for the car. So we instantly have equity because we bought the house at a huge discount. But here's the point. We're focused on cash flow, not assets. So this house produces $500 net every month after all expenses. So my wife buys a car. I said, as long as the payment is below $500 a month, you can buy any car you want. So that car is being paid for by the house. So who's paying for it? It's not me. It's the tenant. And when the car gets old, she can buy another car because the $500 a month keeps paying for it. So technically she could buy 6 cars over, I don't know, 30 years, and the house is going up in value. The rents are going up and I don't have to pay for the car. Okay. This is the way wealthy people think. They don't buy their liabilities. They buy assets, and the assets buy their liabilities. Oh, did I mention this car could be a write-off for a business? Yeah, it could be a write-off also. So after that explanation, my wife says, well, okay, we can buy another house. That was okay. Okay, so I want you guys to think like this. You know, when your friends are asking you what you're up to, instead of saying nothing much, tell them about stuff you're learning. Tell them about this webinar. Tell them some of this stuff because their heads are going to explode. They need to hear it. Okay, it's almost like a religion. It's almost like evangelists. It's like, you got to learn this stuff. This is what wealthy people know. Okay, and where was I? And then get to help people. Yeah, this is it. So in my world, all of my tenants have a pathway to owning the houses. Okay, some of them own them free and clear now. And again, mobile homes, houses, it doesn't matter. It's providing that value that nobody else is doing, and the marketplace is dying for it. There's so many people. I don't know how to tell you how opportunity there is. I mean, it almost sounds comical. Okay, so that's my name. That's my phone number. Bill Oehme, as in you owe me the rent. That's how all my tenants know me. And my email address if you need to get in touch with me. And you can obviously see that I'm happy with lots of checks. And if you think buy and hold is boring, hopefully I've changed your mind, because this is really, the opportunity is off the charts good. So get educated, build your financial future. Don't hope that somebody else is going to do it. Don't abdicate responsibility for your future. Take control. Okay. And thanks for coming to the workshop.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill. Let's see. There we go. Great stuff. And this is why Bill is one of our speakers. This is only a little taste of what he's going to be talking about. Think you can learn a little bit more? Boom, there you go. While at the event, absolutely. You'll get a chance to also network with a lot of people that are just like you. Maybe a lot of people getting started, a lot of people in different levels of investing, but Bill will be there for the event as well. So, and a lot of that, Bill, you mentioned the pros and cons. Absolutely. You know, the best investment you can make is not an asset out there, but it's in yourself. You got to start investing in yourself first. You know, learn the education, learn all that you can before you get started. But, you know, this is definitely the perfect time to get started investing. And like Bill mentioned, you know, mobile homes are an entry, low risk, low entry, high reward. You know, we don't invest 20, 30, or even 40,000 or more into some of these mobile homes. The method, you know, the way we coach you is 70,000 is typically all in as to, you know, what we will be in, much like what Bill's double wide. He showed us beautiful double wide, by the way, Bill, you've shown us that before. But being able to also provide, you know, America has a serious shortage in housing. And when it comes to affordability, it's even bigger and it's growing. It is not going away. I'm asked quite often, you know, where will mobile homes be in the next 10, 20 years? I'll say there'll be even more of them. You know, there is a high demand for affordability housing, and the way we structure our housing, you know, being able to give back, being able to provide, because a lot of these banks, credit unions do not work with housing that we provide. So that gives us an option to finance, for instance, for somebody, give an opportunity for somebody to actually own something. So So Bill, we will be, as we mentioned, the event is in fall. You can check out on here on social media. We've posted it on Instagram and TikTok as well. This video will be shared as well on all of our social media and YouTube. It'll have the link to it, but you can visit GarciaMHU.com. You can check out the event on that, get registered for it. Bill displayed his information. It'll also get listed on the social media, so you'll be able to reach out to him directly should you choose to. But you do not want to miss this event. The shadow event is a full day where we're in classroom teaching. We'll have all the speakers in there, a lot of networking, a lot of education. Second day caters to, second day is optional, but you do not want to miss that as well. That is when we get taken out to the field and actually see some of these properties in and out. We get to talk to contractors, managers, handymen, all exclusive. So we're out there actually visually seeing. I'm more of a visual person. You can teach me like Bill here. He teaches me something every day. I'll learn some here this morning. But, when you show me, it's a little different of it. So it gets me to start doing it, if you will. But all right, anything else you'd like to add to it, Bill?
No, that's it. Hopefully you guys got it. I can't see any feedback, but you guys have my number if anybody wants to talk more about it. I mean, unfortunately, my wife says, can we talk about anything besides real estate? And I'm like, there's something else? I'm shocked.
If it doesn't make money, I'm not interested.
Exactly. It's like, wait a minute. Is it making money or not? That's what I care about.
Absolutely. Question came in. Where will the event take place? So the event is going to continue to be in Warner Robins, Georgia. We had listed that. That will continue. It'll be a first day classroom, second day out in the field. But it'll be in the same location. We get a shuttle that picks us up, so no worries on that. And a lot more details that will be given throughout the time as we get closer. For anybody who signs up, you'll immediately get a lot more information on that as well. So stay tuned for that. Definitely stay tuned on our social media also. But well, that does it. That's week one. This is the first Saturday that we have first speaker, meet your speakers. Next week, we will have the second speaker and so forth and so on. So you do not want to miss this. They will be on replay, but you want to be jump on so that you can ask questions as well. So that being said, Bill, thank you for coming on here. As
My
usual,
pleasure.
always great to see you. Yes, sir. We will see y'all all next Saturday morning. Thank you for watching.